Hi, today is November 9th, 2025, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 1739 for the year, Gel Douche. After I saw the gel douche in the hotel shower, I started to say gel douche over and over as I washed. This is called vocal stimming, and with me, sometimes when I see a word or a phrase written down, I develop an appetite for saying it. Like when I see it, I have a hunger to say it. Gel douche, gel douche, gel douche. Even after I get out of the shower, I was like gel douche, gel douche, gel douche. One of the nice things about being alone in a hotel room is you can say gel douche as many times as you want and not worry that you're bothering the fuck out of somebody. If you weren't alone, you'd be annoying as fuck. But if you were alone, as I was yesterday, you could say gel douche as many times as you want. And I did. And it was many, many times. Poem number 1740, Gel Douché. As I was stimming to my heart's content, gel douche, gel douche, gel douche, it wasn't long until I started saying gel douche, and my thoughts returned to Italian fascism and that bastard, gel douche. Note, I am aware that his name is actually spelled gel douche, but I wanted to be able to distinguish this poem from the last, and also to enable the reader to pronounce his name correctly in the event that anyone is unfamiliar with the notorious leader. I also recalled the time I sat face to face with Gel Douche at the negotiating table as we tried to work out details of an armistice. After it had become clear that Gel Douche had changed his position on a number of items that I thought had been settled at our previous meeting, I stared into his iron black eyes and said, "Et tu, Gel Douche?" He didn't blink, and he didn't back down, but eventually he was defeated, and Gel Douche is barely a footnote in the history books today. Poem number 1741, Mouthfeel. One might ask what it is about Gel Douche and Gel Douche that makes them both so satisfying to say, and I think unfortunately it's the mouthfeel. The term mouthfeel is so aberrant that it has been banned in more than 20 states and 4 Canadian provinces. Nova Scotia votes next week. One might ask what it is about mouthfeel that makes it so reprehensible and unacceptable, and I think clearly it's the mouthfeel. Poem number 1742, Featherbed. He awoke from the featherbed with feathers stuck all over his body, which would have really sucked, except he discovered that he could fly. And man, did that motherfucker fly over buildings, over clouds. He could have shit on the heads of birds instead of birds shitting on his head, except he didn't have to shit. All he had to do was fly, and that was all he did all fucking day until it was time for him to return to the featherbed for another night's sleep. Poem number 1743, The Underlord. The Underlord was always lording it under everyone. If you were to brag about how foolish and incompetent you are, the Underlord would trot out incidences from his past that show unequivocally that he was more foolish and more incompetent. The Underlord is very good at what he does, but he is also quite a dick. If you think you have what it takes to out-under the Underlord, I would support your candidacy or your coup. Let's meet at the old clock tower tonight to discuss. Fuck the Underlord. Poem number 1744, The Overling. The Overling was no prize either. Servile and scraping, yes, but always exuding an I'm better than you attitude, like a British butler who went to Oxford and Cambridge while you went to Queen's College, the one in Flushing. Always linging it over everybody, always slinging the ling like it was about to go out of season. Sometimes I think I want to put him in a sling, but I'm not a violent man. Maybe I'll just put the overling in a slinky and leave it at that. And the last poem of the day, poem number 1745, The Single Instance. There was a single instance of insight that hovered over the community like an overling, and under the community like a sandwich of light. But because the community never looked up or down, the instance was never taken advantage of or employed. The instance applied for unemployment, but the government had been shut down for weeks. So the instance went to a singles bar, hoping to meet other single instances. I'll spare you the details, but suffice it to say, the single instance did not go home alone that night. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.